After satisfying my interest with Barbenheimer, I decided to cleanse my palate with Cobweb, which is an indie horror film which stars Lizzie Kaplan, Anthony Starr, and Woody Norman. Now, this is counter programming to Barbenheimer, to Barbie, and to Oppenheimer. And it was a small theater showing this film, but it was relatively packed, not sold out, but not empty. And after surveying the crowd, it seemed like there were mid-teens to younger 20s filling the audience, which was really interesting. Now, this is complete counter programming, a horror film deep in the middle of July. And I'm glad I gave it a shot. Now, I did see the trailer, and I thought from the trailer, I thought I had guessed the twist, and turns out I was wrong. Now, I wanted to see this because I like Lizzie Kaplan. I think she is she's a great actress because she has these eyes that are inviting, seductive, and haunting. So I think she plays mystery, suspense, and horror very well. So she's perfectly cast. I also think Anthony Starr is perfectly cast too because he has this smile that is very haunting as well, that seems to be bubbling under the surface and is somewhat horrifying. I think they're perfectly cast as the parents to an 8-year-old boy who is afraid of the dark. He's hearing these voices coming through his bedroom wall in this very creepy house that they're restoring, that his parents are restoring. And there's some mystery surrounding the neighborhood where there was a young girl that went missing, which is really a MacGuffin. No, I won't spoil. I won't spoil. Let me not say that. There's some mystery surrounding a young girl who has been missing for some time. She went missing, disappeared, never found. So what I like, okay, so there's that. And he's having some trouble at school. He's being bullied, and he has this entire movie a scar under his chin, which none of the characters recognize. It's only for the audience. He has a scar under his chin, so we question as the story unfolds if this is from the bully who throws him to the ground every day, or his parents who are enwrapped with this mystery of, did they kidnap the kid from down the street? Are they harming their 8-year-old son? What's going on? There's so much mystery and suspense that's very titillating as the story unfolds. And I like that. I think that horror films work so well when there are young kids involved. When I saw Poltergeist as a kid, I was terrified. And I think this has elements of Poltergeist in some way. So, because what this film does well is it doesn't use jump scares. It is very interactive in that it builds up to the suspense by slowly building up. It slowly builds up so that you can already, based on your bias, already guess what's about to happen. You know something's about to happen, and you're on the edge of your seat because you think it's a jump scare, but it's not. And what's so suspenseful is that you don't know what's going on with the parents. You don't know what the kid is really dealing with, and you don't know who's inside the wall. I think it does a good job of maintaining mystery. Now, there's a twist. Again, I thought it was something totally different, but the twist works. What didn't work for me is that the actual horrifying figure, I don't think it was written well enough. It's scary at times, but it just seemed to be a little weak on the development of the character. And the character's development is very important because of the twist. So I think it was a little weak there. And that third act, when I tell you the editing is so bad in the third act, and it's so profound, it's so bad in that third act that it's as if either they ran out of production costs and couldn't fix it in post, or they didn't think we'd mind, we, the audience, would mind. It is very noticeable, very prominent, and I think it weakened the movie overall for me because it is bad. And when you see it, you'll see exactly what I mean. It's so noticeable. It looked borderline sloppy. And it might have been because this is an indie, it might have been because they maybe because these are the producers of Barbarian, and so maybe because that movie came out so recent that maybe they used their production on that because that had better production value than I think this had. But all in all, this really is a good mystery and suspenseful horror film, except for those big issues with the underdevelopment of the horrifying figure and the editing. But the score is haunting. Again, I like that they didn't dumb down the horror with jump scares. And one of the actresses is Cleopatra Coleman. She plays the teacher who is very concerned that Woody Norman's character, he plays the 8-year-old boy, that his character is being bullied, but she also questions what's going on at home. So I like that she was used to drive the narrative to sort of lead you in one direction when it's actually going in a different direction. It's good. Like, for the most part, this is a good horror film, despite the post production and, of course, pre development of the story behind the horrifying figure. I think it's good. Should you see this in theaters? I think it's in limited release. So if you can find it, I think it's worth the money to see it, especially if you can catch it like matinee. Now, this is a rated R horror film. I don't think it needed to be rated R. I really don't. This could have been PG-13, really, because it doesn't, I can't even think of off the top of my head what would even make this rated R. It is not, there's no nudity, there's not really any that kind of violence. I guess you can say that there's horrific violence in it, but not so gruesome. So this could have been PG-13. I think it would have played better if it were, because I thought it was. It felt like a PG-13 horror film. Could you wait for this to stream and still get the satisfaction? I think you will. Like, this doesn't have to be seen on the big screen. It helps to be with an audience because it's interactive. It makes you want to scream at the people in the film, just like you did in Barbarian. But you could wait as well. Like, you could see this on your TV at home and still get the satisfaction of the suspense and the mystery and the horror. At any rate, Cobweb is currently in theaters now.